Hello and welcome to In the Bunch, the world's fastest moving cycling magazine show. And rapid this week's going to be because we look at the inaugural Tshwane Classic on the road. We spend time at the Wines2Whales, and of course we look at the UCI and the understandable pressure on the size of pro teams in the Grand Tours and of course which would affect their squads. But the Tshwane Classic attracted 5,000 riders to the Voortrekker Monument in that opening event over 98 kilometers. Career-changing victory in the men's and women's races. The young Chris Jooste used the Tom Jenkins climb. 800 meters, very steep, between 9 and 14%, and almost cobbled under wheel, a la Europe, those Koppenbergs and those big, well-known climbs. He went away there, and in fact, they never ever saw him again. A big win for this youngster.
No, definitely. It's a great feeling. And as I said, I never expected coming here this morning to win and have such a good result. But I always go into the race to do my best. You never go there to lose. So it's an awesome feeling, and it's wonderful.
Well, it's a great ride for Chris Jooste. We hope that he ends up in a pro team in 2018 thanks to that fantastic effort of his. Women's race saw a tremendous battle. The informed Carla Ober also looking for a fifth classic in 2017. She wanted to add the Tshwane Classic to her mantelpiece. She found herself on the Tom Jenkins climb with company. Izet Olofse joined her. The 32-year-old, however, got dropped twice in the last 18 kilometers by Ober also. But at the Voortrekker Monument, the result was completely the opposite. Izet Olofse had come up, and she was the winner, with Ober also in second wheel on this occasion. Deserves to be delighted with that victory, does Izet Olofse.
Yeah, over the moon. I really can't explain what I'm feeling. I don't think I can actually believe it. Because it is my hometown race, so since I heard we were going to have the Tshwane Classic, I thought this is the one that I'd like to take. So yeah, just awesome. No words.
Sure, what a spell we've had on two wheels of recent, and of course the Tshwane Classic on the road, the Wines2Whales on the mountain bike, and it's that very event which has been so significant to so many people in the last fortnight or so. Of course, Jenny Stenhaag winning with Adelaide Morad in the women's, Birkus and Base always winning men's multi-day mountain bike events, and a sad moment for Waylon Wilcock. After 20 years in the saddle at the top of the pelotons, he has now announced his retirement. Before we talk about the end, get back to the finish of the women's race. Jenny Stenhaag and Adelaide Morad winning that one in great form. The Cape Epic defending champion felt that this field was really up to scratch in this edition of the Wines2Whales.
I would say that it was the strongest ladies field in any race I've done this year, except for the Cape Epic.
Well, a big win there for Jenny Stenhaag and a teammate, but in the men's race, it was Philip Base and Matthijs Birkus to put that final nail into the coffin of the others if they were in fact at the funeral. These guys rode absolutely magnificently to notch up a third victory for Matthijs Birkus. Drawing along with him, the ex-Olympian Philip Base on a maiden victory voyage. Matthijs Birkus has established himself, arguably, I think, as the finest multi-day mountain biker in South Africa, and he's delighted with being the only man to win this race on 3 occasions.
I know a couple of people have won it twice, but yeah, so that's for me something special, and I think this year the competition was definitely the strongest it's ever been, so it just makes it so much more special.
Well, we broke the news of the retirement of Waylon Wilcock recently, and this modest rider won't brag about his victories, but we can tell you there have been many. Successful transition from one of the top roadies in the country to one of the very best mountain bikers here. Career wins on the mountain bike in the Joburg to see the Karoo Coast and, of course, the Tankwa Trek events. Fantastic career that Waylon Wilcock's had after 20 years in the saddle. We chatted to him at the finish of the Wines2Whales when he came 5th at the end of that battle.
I'm actually quite relieved that it's over. It's definitely, when you get riders have ridden as long as I have, you get to a point where it's not enjoyable. And cycling's also, if you take it as a career, it also needs to be enjoyed as well. So I think it's the right time for me to stop. So happy that it's done and dusted. I'd say my low lights is not being able to win a national championship. It's something that I really would have liked to have ticked off in my career, but it is what it is. And then obviously low lights in anyone's career not having a sponsorship. There was 2 years where I didn't have any form of sponsorship, and I sort of had to go from race to race, earning prize money to get through.
If I was Declan Sadie, this is all in fact you'd see of me. Well, the reason for that is Declan has to be the tallest man in the world on 2 wheels. He's got to be at least a head taller than me. And when you interview him, you've got to look up there somewhere to spot him. But he's at a fantastic close to the 2017 mountain bike season, winning the final Diamond Rush Trail Seeker Gauteng Series event to not only score a massive victory, but to also secure his future in the sport which he'd almost retired from up and until the significant win.
Yeah, it was really special. Mainly because up until Thursday, it was set to be my last race as a professional. Until I got confirmation that I had a pro contract for 2018. So that was a relief, and I went into the race really relaxed and confident. So, more than anything, I was happy to be there and knowing that in 2018 I'd be continuing, so that was great.
Well, I tell you that mountain biking in the world is based in South Africa, and very much so in the Western Cape. Neighbouring that is one of the brand new races, the Transcape 7-day tour, which has just been given UCI status. Of course, UCI, the world cycling body. Great news as well is that Attakwas now moves into the UCI World Marathon Series. One of only 29 races on the globe, one of only 5 outside of Europe. Well done to those good guys from this event. Sticking with the UCI now, Brian Cookson, the Brit, was recently ousted as the president of the World Cycling Governing Body by David Lepartient, the Frenchman. Now, Lepartient has just issued a release saying that he would like to see the number of riders in the Grand Tours decrease from 9, which there are, 8 has been mooted for 2018, down to 6. He cites safety as his reason for that. Possibly could be economics, but whatever it is, Douglas Ryder, the principal of the Dimension Data for Quebec team, clearly doesn't agree with our president.
So, I think, new president wanting to make an impact, so David Lepartient wants to make an impact in the sport, and he's saying things that are, that could potentially be, debated and discussed, and I think a reduction in the number of riders in the Grand Tours, is not really going to make it safer if they do bring in more teams, but we have to wait and see on that. But time will tell. I don't think the racing will be any more exciting. It just means teams will work together and to try and protect sprinters and focus on what their objectives are. And I do think that teams going into races like a Tour de France with a single strategy now with reduced numbers, like the general classification or the sprinter's jersey or stage wins, will no longer have a dual strategy, and I think that potentially could be negative for some teams, and it would be negative for us because more than likely the African riders will no longer, will find it very difficult to find a place in a team when you go to a race like the Tour de France with the objective of either winning stages or winning overall.
South Africa's cyclists has always been very hard at work. In fact, they've spent the last week or so at the Bellville Velodrome trying to qualify for the Commonwealth Games 2018. We have those names, but we can't tell you who they are. Simple reason that there's still a month or 2 left of qualification for this, the world's second biggest games. As well, in the SA Sports Awards, 3 South African cyclists deservedly make the shortlist at this moment. Toni Mould, a silver medalist in the paracycling, she's there. Super Piet de Pre, our world champion in paracycling, he's there. And of course, the past winner of the Women's SA Sports Star of the Year, Ashley Mooolman-Pasio, deservedly is on the list once again. And now for what's hot, very hot and extremely hot on In the Bunch. Our podium, as every time in each episode, in 3rd position this time, the Amashover Classic, Nolan Hoffman's 6th victory, equalizing Malcolm Lange's all-time record. The departure, the retirement of Waylon Wilcock, takes a silver medal on this occasion, and the gold medal right on top of the podium, the Tshwane Classic. Well done to those guys, because they are destined for the very top of the echelons in the world of cycling. You can find full links to all of these stories in the description right below the picture. If you've enjoyed the show, that's watching it as much as what we've done doing it for you, please do subscribe and tap the bell. This is Johnny Koen, 4 in the bunch with Zuurberg saying ciao for now. But on the way out, I think I've got to get the old track bike out and see if they'll still have me at the Commonwealth Games. That is, if 6 minutes for the 4K pursuit will do it. You work that out for yourselves. Cha-cha.